welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and if you're a returning viewer, hi, welcome back. Thank you for watching again. So today I am doing a review on Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. So before I get into it, please thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And now let's get into the review. So before I get into this in depth, just know I love Colleen and her books. The last few that have been released I haven't really been into. I have enjoyed and liked as I have her older ones, and I've been kind of disappointed by them. Maybe Someday isn't brand new. It was released, I think, 2, maybe 3 years ago. I'm not sure. So I was expecting some of her old type of feel when it came to the book. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I didn't get it. I was very disappointed in this book. Very disappointed. I don't like to do negative reviews much. I don't like to rant or anything. But I hated this book so much. I hated it with a strong passion that surprises me. So this is book 1 of, I think, a 4-book series. It is romance, new adult. So it's got more, I'm not sure. Young adult has dark tones to it as well as new adult, so it's really hard to differentiate between the two, but this is new adult. So Maybe Someday follows a girl named Sydney who really loves music and is just kind of going against her parents' wishes and studying it. She loves writing lyrics and playing instruments. Has a pretty great life with her boyfriend and her friend, and everything seems to be going great for her in the starting chapters. And then we meet Ridge, who actually lives across from her, and he plays guitar and he's in a band. He writes music. Awesome dude. They become friends and write music together. Ridge is deaf in this book, so there's a lot of communicating via text instead of actual dialogue between the two of them, which I wasn't fond of, but I got the reasoning behind it. So everything's great until Sydney learns that her boyfriend is cheating on her, and she and Ridge get together, who happens to have a girlfriend. So this is where my issues with this book lies. So starting with Ridge, I felt no connection at all with this guy. Like, at all. I felt no attraction to him, which, as the main hero of the book, you should have some sort of feelings towards him. I personally felt like he was a total sleaze in the way that he came off. You know, he didn't tell Sydney about her boyfriend cheating with her roommate. He was basically with 2 girls at the same time. Okay, he had a girlfriend who, yes, wasn't living in the same state as him, but was still very much his girlfriend. He expressed his love to her many times, and then he's got Sydney across the way, who he's also, like, falling for, and kisses her, and, you know, tells her that he loves her, and it's a huge mess, and I don't like this at all because he comes across just as bad as the anti-hero of the story, which is her boyfriend. And just break up with your current girlfriend if you want to be bad, if you want to be with Sydney so badly. That's one thing that I don't like about this guy, is that he's just like the ex-boyfriend. What makes him so different that I'm supposed to fall in love with him? Sydney was dumb. I don't like to criticize the main females so often, but she was dumb. She was being cheated on by her ex. She dumps him and then goes to Ridge, wherein she becomes the other woman and they cheat on his girlfriend. I think that's dumb of her. Why did you move from one cheater to another? And now you're having huge play in it. It is at your fault if anything happens between Ridge and that girl. I don't get Sydney's thoughts on this at all, and I don't relate to her at all, or I just don't like her at all. So when I read the scenes between Sydney and Ridge, I hated them. I kind of glossed over. I didn't want to know about them. I didn't want to know the time. I didn't want to hear them say I love you, or, you know, read that they're saying they love you. I wasn't listening to an audiobook. You know, I can't be happy to read about them when everything's so chaotic and not put together, and thinking that Ridge is not going to end up with Sydney in the first place. I mean, Ridge goes to Sydney and says, I love you, right after he goes to Maggie, his girlfriend, and says, hey, I love you and I'll stay if you want me to. What kind of guy does that? And Sydney, knowing that, goes along with it. I don't have respect for these two characters at all. Sydney only thought about Ridge and how he was doing, how much she liked him and how much he liked her, and on the other hand, Ridge was just thinking that he's doing nothing wrong and that he's feeling guilty even though he thinks he's doing nothing wrong. I can't stand these two and their inner thoughts and the way they're going about this whole situation. It's super messed up. Like, maybe that's a realistic type relationship stuff that's going on in the real world, but I don't have respect for people like that, so I don't have respect for people in books like that. So Ridge basically didn't choose Sydney. Maggie tells him, I love you, choose me. But Maggie basically says, go away, after he professes his love to her, and he's like, I'll stay if you want me to. How is that in any way choosing Sydney? Sydney became second right when he said that. And when she said, no, go away, he went to Sydney, professed his love, and was like, if you want to love me, I'm here. So another part that I hated in this book was the amount of woman shaming in this story, which surprises me because Colleen doesn't seem like the type to like that kind of stuff, but there's so many parts of this book where girls are saying, oh, she's such a slut, she's a whore, or whatever, calling out these other girls that they don't know, that they're just dressed for a certain way, and I don't know why, because the characters don't seem to be that way, but they came across that way anyways, and it just made me disappointed, because I'm like, how am I supposed to like these characters if they're acting immature and vicious towards other women? I didn't like that part, I don't appreciate that, and I'm really disappointed in Colleen for adding stuff like that. I know that's realistic in today's society, or any time really, and that women do shame each other, but for the main character, you're supposed to like them, you're supposed to cheer them on, and when she said stuff like that, it just really turned me away from her. I just couldn't, that's when it started, I just couldn't stand her. So from the first chapter really, I just wanted to give up. It started off bad. So I'm, obviously like I've stated, I'm disappointed in this. I was hoping for something much better, and I got something bad, really bad. I cannot recommend this book. I can't for the life of me think of anything good about it. It was just so, the situation was bad, and I'm surprised that Colleen would write something like this. It makes no sense to me. It's completely different from how her other books are, and I just can't stand behind this book at all. So I do not recommend it. I gave it 1 star, but I'd give it a 0 if I could. But yeah, there is my little rant review type thing. I know there's I was planning on doing it in a certain way, hit certain points, but I just pushed film and just had to blab on about it. Now you know how I feel about this book. Do you feel the same? Are you completely different in how it is? Let me know. Again, I love Colleen's older books. It's just this one failed for me. Other people I know love it, but for me, I just personally cannot stand it. So, thank you for watching. Again, please thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. I really appreciate it if you do. I'll see you next time.